Hey, it's Mandee Montana. You know I love to relax, and wellness is essential to my daily routine. I stay hydrated, take my supplements, eat well, and one of my favorite ways to unwind? A visit to Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler. And this month, when you sign up for a membership, you'll receive a $30 cash value gift card to use on your next service. That means you can treat yourself to something extra, like my personal favorite, the Himalayan salt stones, a hot stone massage, or any luxurious add-on within 60 days. Whether it's a facial or a massage, taking time to relax is a vital part of my routine. And with the new year here, let's talk routines, not just resolutions. Becoming a member at Hand and Stone means you'll save money and have that self-care appointment locked in every month. So go ahead, schedule your moment to relax and recharge, and don't miss out on this amazing January offer. Visit Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa today in the Cumberland Shopping Center or online at handandstonetyler.com. Welcome to the Celebrating Women podcast, hosted by Mandee Montana, a podcast that celebrates women, their stories, their struggles, and ability to overcome. Conversations that celebrate their gifts, their talents, and courage. It's the Celebrating Women podcast, presented by Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler, Texas. With over 20 massage therapists and 6 estheticians, certified and trained in multiple protocols, you can get an affordable massage or facial located right here in the East Texas area. Book your appointment today. Stop by the spa in the Cumberland Shopping Center in Tyler or online at handandstonetyler.com. Welcome back to the Celebrating Women podcast. I'm Mandee Montana with my guest, Dani Van Buskirk.
Hello, everybody.
You have started the coolest business recently, pink font, and I'm a reader, so that's part of why I'm super into it, but I want to hear all about it, all the good things. Where did pink font come from, Dani?
So I've been a reader since I was 4 years old.
Ooh.
I also have always loved fashion and designing. Mm-hmm. I made a little piece of paper as a kid and would draw clothes and put my little boutique name on it, which for some reason I was very into tropical. So Bahama Mama was the name of the clothing store I made as a kid.
I love it.
But as I got older, that always stayed on the back burner. Mm-hmm. It's just something I always thought about. Even as a kid, reading was very important. I remember my grandma would take us to Barnes & Noble while we waited to pick up my aunt from school. Mm-hmm. I could literally finish a whole book waiting there. Oh. So like in an hour time, I would just fly through a book. And as I've gotten older now, reading has become popular, which is really cool that now it's a thing. Mm-hmm. And I've always loved romance books. Mm-hmm. I don't care what kind of romance, but especially like the sweet romance. I love the happy endings and things like that. So when I saw that reading was getting popular, I was like, I wonder if there is literally just a store just focused on romance books. They have them. They're very rare. Mm-hmm. So I decided I wanted to do Pink Font's Romance Bookstore Boutique. So I'm combining romance books and also a boutique. So I wanted to do my love of clothing and my love of books together.
Oh, that's so fun. Now, you don't have a storefront just yet, right?
No, it's very slowly
in development. Well, tell me a little bit before we get into the specifics about what you've got right now. Tell me a little bit about some of your favorite authors. I know you said romance, but that is kind of a big genre, right?
Right.
I tend to read kind of fantasy romance. Mm-hmm. I know there's even subgenres of that.
Right.
But I have kind of explored some other things too. I think one of my favorite books that I read recently is Ashley, I'm not sure if it's Poston or Poston, Poston. She wrote a book called The 7-Year Slip. And it's, I don't know, maybe 250 pages. I read it on my Kindle, so I'm not 100% sure. But it's this sweet little story that has kind of a supernatural twist to it. It's kind of set in modern day, but something kind of odd happens in it. And then, of course, it all works out. It's a happy ending. But it's such a sweet little story. And it was just so delightful that then I went and looked for some of her other books. So who do you like to read?
Oh, gosh. I have so many.
Yeah.
I actually have, funny enough, started...
Oh, you've got a spreadsheet.
I started a spreadsheet, and I'm not even close to being done. And I'm already, let's see, my spreadsheet right now, this is going from like 14 maybe, or
Oh, wow.
16.
Almost 10 years?
Almost.
Wow.
And I still haven't put in all of 2021 yet, or 20. Actually, I'm still in 2020, but I'm at 475 books right now that I've listed.
Wow.
But that's why it's hard for me to pick favorite ones. But I have quite a few that, like, if I find one book of theirs, I'm going to read all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to probably say this name wrong. Her name, it's like Tijan, or it's like Tijan. Every time I saw a book, I would go find another book and just kind of got addicted to all of those. Let's see. Going through my little list here.
With that particular author, was she following a storyline of like the same characters, or were her books independent of each other?
Some of them were independent and some of them were following. So she had some series and then she had some where it's just individual books. So I love series.
I do too.
That's actually my favorite thing to do, is find a series. I know you really got into ACOTAR. I'm a little slow on that right now. I just kind of stopped. So I'm still in the second book, but like halfway into the second book.
I wonder, it may not have picked up yet in the second book. There's kind of a turning point in the second book where it's hard to put it down, and I'm thinking maybe you haven't quite got there yet. That's my favorite book of the series, A Court of Mist and Fury. Yeah.
Yeah, so I need to finish.
I think that reading is one of those things, and specifically certain books too, you kind of have to be in the right time and place to really enjoy and appreciate them. I have had books that I didn't finish and then came back later and was like, how did I ever put that down?
Yeah.
You know, but it was a timing thing for me. Like I just wasn't quite ready to finish the story, which sounds really silly, I guess. But I think sometimes that's the case. Like sometimes you need to read a story when you read it.
Right.
Because you're at a place in life where it matters.
Right.
But
sometimes there's the pressure of, oh, I have to read this because everybody else is reading it. But then while you're in that spot, you're also like, well, I don't know if I'm ready to read this yet. So then I think that's where part of me is like, everybody's reading this, I need to see what's going on. But then I don't think I'm mentally ready to read it yet, even though I want to.
I understand what you're saying. Yes. I'm trying to think. There's something about, I'm that way with TV shows. I was that way with Friends. My friends in high school, I'm going to age myself here. The show was ending when we were in high school. And my friend group would get together and they would watch it together, and they would watch Survivor on CBS like before or after. And it was like this whole thing. And for whatever reason, I completely rebelled and refused to go. And it had nothing to do with like, I really didn't like Survivor. I still don't. But it had nothing to do with Friends. There was just something about it that was like everybody was doing it, so I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
And then I had COVID a few years ago. And when I had COVID, I finally started watching Friends from the beginning on HBO. And it was so good. And I like had to call my bestie and be like, I'm so sorry I was rude in high school. Your show is really good. You know, like I get why you loved it so much.
Yes.
But yeah, so I totally understand that feeling. So what are you reading? If you're not reading that now, if you've put it to the side, what are you reading right now?
So I just actually finished an audiobook. I like to do a little combo. In the car, I prefer audiobooks than music. And then I'll try to read a physical. I'm trying to get better at physical books. But I read a lot on my phone through my Kindle app because I'm always on the go. So that's my opportunity to read it just right there on my phone.
I do the same thing.
I finished Lights Out. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
Is it a sports romance? No, I'm thinking of something else.
It's by Navessa Allen. It's almost hard to describe because you might give it away.
Okay.
Kind of books, but it's romance and it's funny.
Oh, I like humor.
But also like a murder mystery type in a way. So I was not expecting it. It was really good.
I'm going to have to read this book now. Yeah. I'm excited to read it. Sometimes when I just finished, well, I didn't actually finish the series. I'm in the middle of rereading the Deborah Harkness series, A Discovery of Witches. So when I first picked up the series, I think there were only 3 books. There may have been a 4th. The 4th book is Time's Convert, I think. And it's about the main characters, but it also kind of shifts. Have you read those? It's, again, supernatural kind of fantasy situation. There's vampires, demons, and witches in this world, in our world, but in the fictional world. And they initially in the series, they don't really interact with each other. And then you kind of find that there's a little bit more interaction happening than what we're led to believe. And it kind of, the story evolves. And the fourth book is, I guess, because it doesn't focus on that first main romantic couple, it's harder for me to follow.
Yeah.
And it kind of does some, what's it called? Like flashbacks to another character's past. And I'm just not as interested in that character as I am in the others. I did not finish it maybe like 5 years ago when I read the series the first time. It may have been longer. But I'm like making myself get through it. I'm listening to the audiobook right now. But like you, it's sometimes I don't have the physical book. And so I'm thinking, do I download it to my Kindle so I can actually like read it this time and listen? And I think I'm going to do it. But when I finish that, I'm going to be ready for a standalone. Is this a standalone, Lights Out?
Right now.
Oh, but there could be more.
She's working on a second.
Okay.
So I'm excited. I just found out that she was working on a second one. But I think it's going to be a while. I think maybe another year before it comes out. But
yeah,
I'm already excited for it.
Well, I think about pretty close to when this podcast drops, there's a big book that's coming from Rebecca Yarros, Onyx Storm.
Oh, yes. I've heard.
Have you read Fourth Wing? And
I have
Flame?
not.
Okay. I mean, it's similar to ACOTAR in that, you know, kind of a different world, but romantic. The romance is definitely there, and there's some humor there. So if you decide you want to dive off into it, at least the book will be available to you. You won't have to wait for the cliffhanger like I've been waiting for a year.
I know. Everybody. So a lot of people around me at work or have read that series. So I don't know why I'm like this, but I'm one of those that, oh, you're reading that? I don't want to read that.
You're resisting. You're like me with Friends. I get it. I totally get it.
I'm like, it's too trendy right now. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Or I'm just like, I don't want to read the same book as you. And I'm like, I feel like a snob. I need to stop doing that.
No, it's your vibe. It's cool. Lights Out. What's next?
My next audiobook that I just started is All the Lights We Cannot See. I don't know much about it. I've read the back of the cover and it sounds interesting. I've heard a lot of people say really good things about it. So I was like, okay, let me do an audiobook so that way I feel like I stay a little bit more focused on it. Every book's got a spot where it's kind of boring and you're just like, okay, I got to push through this. But sometimes if it's a physical book, you don't want to. You just literally put it down and then you never go back to it. And for this one, I don't want to do that. I really want to hear the whole story. So I was like, okay, I'm going to push through that one. And then I am trying... was this everybody loved Haunting Adeline.
Oh, yeah, I haven't read that one. I've heard of it.
It's
yeah,
good. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. Right now, I would say my favorite author, Chantal Tessier. I'm gonna say her name wrong, but she's got it's called the Lord series.
Okay,
it is spicy for
okay,
sure, but. It is so good. 5 books.
I was about to say.
So it's like she's got it into 2 different series. So first it's like The Lords. And then there's another one. It starts with the book's called Carnage. And then it moves on to Madness. Well, now she's just released. I don't think she did the cover yet. But she just released the title of her next book. Like literally like yesterday.
Oh, wow.
So I already pre-ordered it. But it'll come out January of next year.
Yeah.
So I don't know how far she's taking the series. But I hope it keeps going. It's really good.
So jumping back to pink font, clearly you do have this incredible love for reading. I've seen you just like get brighter and brighter and brighter as we're talking about it. You want to combine books with a boutique.
Correct.
Right? So kind of talk to me a little bit more about that vision. How will that work together?
So I want to have like kind of split down the middle kind of store. So half of it will be your book section, half of it will be your boutique section. I'm a knick-knack girly, so I want that in there. Like, I want to be able to have the little book knickknacks, and then also, like, kind of think about what you're wearing when you're reading, your leisure wear that you wear while you sit on the couch with your blanket reading a book. But also then I want my going out outfits as well. So I'm going to kind of have, that's why I was like, maybe I should just divide the store in half with my little bookstore one and then my clothing on the other. And then my little fun gifts. Like I'm a pen girly.
Oh yeah.
I love pens. Like I literally bought 2 pens before I got here at Barnes & Noble.
I have certain pens that I like too. What are your favorites?
Uniball is my favorite. I love writing with like a 0.5 or a 0.3. Like I really love the micro tips because I think my handwriting looks 10 times better than a ballpoint. So if I do a ballpoint, it just looks messy and scrawly. So I save those for work when I'm just writing on like little patient stickers about what's next.
Okay, so pens for sure. some knickknacks. Like, what type of knickknacks do you envision?
Kind of cutesy, like home decor things. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I love bows. I was so excited that that became a thing because I've been
If
wearing.
they're trendy now, yeah.
Because now I can find them everywhere, and I've been wearing bows in my hair forever, even before it was popular. So I was like, oh yes, I can find them now.
Yeah.
It's the only exciting part about it being a trend is I can find it everywhere.
Right? So pens and bookmarks and bows. I love all of this. It's so feminine and romantic and just lovely.
All the supplies you need, basically. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people do like to annotate in their books. I'm not a fan of that because I feel like blasphemous doing
Writing
it.
them, yeah.
Even in school when I had to do it, I was like, this is hard.
Yeah. I like a clean, fresh book that doesn't have things written in it. It's one of the things that I like about reading in a Kindle, though, is I don't feel like I'm messing it up. And I'll highlight things sometimes and make notes in them. I've really kind of I love a physical book, and I love bookshelves and having like all the pretty spines in certain ways with my knickknacks on the shelf. But I also really love the convenience of a Kindle.
Yes.
And it's part of how I got back. Well, I say Kindle, it's my iPad, but with the Kindle app. But it's part of what's made reading more accessible for me again, like you were talking about earlier on your phone. When I'm on the go, if I have it with me, I have a library at my fingertips.
Yep. I would literally read while I'm waiting in line to check out at the grocery store.
Yeah. And then when I really fall in love with a book that I've read on Kindle, I then want the actual book.
Yep.
It's almost like I've earned it. You know?
My cousin calls it trophies.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that idea. Book trophy.
Yes.
That's awesome. I love that idea. So books, bookmarks, bows, pens, the cozy leisure wear. This just sounds like the perfect place. Like I want to go hang out in pink font.
Yeah. My goal is to have like a couch in there, and I want to have a section of books that are not for purchase, but if, say you're having a bad day and you need to get away.
Oh, I love this.
Bring your own coffee, whatever you need. I will have a blanket, a chair, and a shelf of books, and you can pick a book from that shelf and just hang out.
I love that idea.
I feel like we all sometimes just need that safe space to get away. And
You're looking at mine.
Yeah, I understand completely.
Yeah.
I have my office at home, and I have like a reclining chair. I want to be able to provide that space eventually for someone, even if it's a college student that needs to come study.
Yeah.
That they have a space where they feel comfortable and secure, because I feel like that was always hard to find growing up, especially in college. There's not a lot of places where you can go and feel safe and secure to go study. So I really want that.
Oh, that just sounds heavenly.
And I do want to have the bookstore side like divided up, where I have like, here's your spicy books, your clean books, your sports romance. Like I want to categorize it where any age can come, and not just be like, oh, well, it's a romance store, only adults can come. I want to be able to introduce young kids. Like I got to be introduced to romance books at a young age that were clean and safe. So I really want to be able to bring that to younger girls too. And I mean, obviously, you won't find many guys reading romance books, but you'll find them, but it'll mainly be female.
I have a friend. I won't out him on this podcast, but he's reading ACOTAR right now.
Oh, nice.
Or he's probably finished it at this point. So speaking of books for girls, young adults, what are some of the books that kind of developed your love for reading like that were clean and you felt were age appropriate, that you fell in love with?
My first author, I don't even know if she writes anymore. Her name is Laurlene McDaniel, but I still remember her. I still remember the books I read. Part of it was sad because it was a lot of the kids in there would have like cancer or stuff like that. But at the time when I was reading them, I had a family member that had cancer and passed. And for some reason, those just like spoke to me and helped.
Yeah.
I think they helped me heal, if anything, while that was going on. But she was one of my favorites. I don't know the author, but the name of the book is called The Selection.
Okay.
So it's like Hunger Games meets like becoming a princess type thing.
Think I stumbled across this as a recommendation a long time ago. Does the cover of the book, is it a woman in a blue dress? Almost looks like Cinderella, but she's looking over her shoulder. Yep.
It's a very good series.
I started it, and I don't remember if maybe it was like free on my Kindle for a period of time or something, but for whatever reason, I put it down, got distracted, and never finished it.
I think it's Sierra Cass.
That sounds right. I mean, I remember it, and it may still be in my Kindle for that matter.
It's Kiera Cass is her name. And then my other, well, they consider that one kind of in that fantasy section, but Jennifer Armentrout. I don't know if you've ever heard of her.
I have one of her books. Is it From Blood and Ash?
That is one of hers.
It's the one that's sitting on my shelf that I need to read.
So I've actually, one of her books.
I think she holds a big book event.
Really?
I follow her on Instagram. Yeah, like a conference, like a book conference for readers. We'll have to look it up. That might be a fun girls trip. Yeah.
Because I love her. But the series I read from her was, I think it's called Obsidian, I think was the first book. But there's at least 5 or 6 books, I think, in that series. But I remember reading them. It was 2013 maybe even before that. But I remember I needed the other books. So I moved to San Antonio and I was like, I need to find the rest of these series. And I'm really broke at this point still because we just moved. So I was like, okay, where's the library? Maybe the library has it.
Oh, yeah.
And so I ended up finding them. I read that whole series. And then Lauren Kate was another one that I did the audiobooks. I did the physical books. Her book was called Fallen. And very good. Like the end, I literally gasped at the end of the series. Not even the book, the series, the end of the series.
Wow. Okay. You're going to have to send me all of these so that I can include them in the show notes and so I can go read them all because my TBR list just gets longer and longer and longer.
Oh, yes. I have plenty for you.
Okay, good. We'll have to share. So as you're developing Pink Font, I know that you've kind of started with baby steps.
Yes.
So you have a Facebook page.
I do. I have a Facebook and I have Instagram.
And you have Instagram. And you did a pop-up in December.
I've done 2 pop-ups.
You've done 2? Awesome. Okay. And so what's available now from Pink Font? Because we don't have quite the dream bookstore with the cozy nook and the boutique yet, but you do have some items that you're selling now to kind of get you off the ground, right?
Slightly. I'm about to start posting some of the items I had at pop-ups. Now posting them online. I'm going to have them on my Facebook. I'm working on having a Shopify.
Oh, cool.
So that's in the process right now. Also working on getting my LLC right now. So once I get that and other licensing, then I can start adding more. But right now everything's handmade right now.
That's exciting and so super cool.
Yes. So everything's made to purchase type stuff unless it's already been done for my pop-up. So I do stickers, bookmarks, t-shirts, hats, tote bags, things like that right now.
Are you doing some custom orders if people request them? Based on your designs?
If you see something and it's say I don't have your size or you're really wanting something more personalized, I can definitely do that.
Okay, so where do we find you on Facebook?
Just at Pink Font.
Okay. I thought it was just Pink Font, but I wanted to make sure. And then what's your Instagram handle? Is it the same?
It is different. It is pink_font_RBB. And that's it. RBB is for Romance Boutique Bookstore.
It. Okay, so pink_font_RBB. But probably if we search Pink Font, we're going to find you too, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
It's got a pink fonts literally in pink words.
It's a pink font. It's quite literal. I
picked the name Pink Font because I wanted something to think romance. You kind of think girly and pink, but also I was thinking about literature. So that's where font came in. So I was like, I had to somehow combine them together. I had a list that I literally made of names and all something that had to do with writing or I was going through synonym lists like crazy trying to figure out which one made sense to me. But I was like, I really like the idea of Pink Font.
I love it. When I first saw it, I was like, that's perfect because it just seems like the perfect name. I think it's so good and it fits your style and it fits what am I trying to say? Your design style of the bookmarks and the stickers. And they're feminine and playful and whimsical. It sounds just like the stories that we read, right?
Yes.
They're a reflection of that.
For sure.
For sure. What have I missed? I think this is exciting. I can't wait to see it come to fruition.
Just follow me on social media and I'm open to ideas. Actually, I made a post one day. I was like, what would you like to see more of in the bookstore once I have it? Somebody put on there book sleeves. So I'm trying to learn how to make a book sleeve right now.
Great. So following, interacting. And that's one of the things that's great about social media, right? You can support somebody absolutely for free, right? Cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
This has been fun. We should do it again and maybe do some book talk in the future.
Oh, yes, I would love it.
The Celebrating Women podcast wants to hear from you. Email us a voice message to celebratingwomenpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear your story or the story of an incredible woman you know. Become part of the conversation on social media. Facebook.com/celebratingwomenpodcast. On Instagram, search Celebrating Women Podcast. The Celebrating Women podcast has been presented by Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler, Texas. Book your appointment today. Stop by the spa in Cumberland Shopping Center or online at handandstonetyler.com. Support the show for as little as $3 per month at celebratingwomenpodcast.buzzsprout.com or visit our show notes. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe to the Celebrating Women podcast. Hey guys, it's Mandee. Have you been struggling to lose those extra pounds? Oh, I know. I have totally been there. An extra, 15 to 20 pounds can totally creep up on you in perimenopause. Or at least it has with me. And I think I found it early. I hope it's not happening to you. But if it is, I've got the solution. You can lose up to 15 pounds in 8 days with an incredible product line that I found and I want to share with you. Get a custom product recommendation with a complimentary wellness screening in the show notes. Just click Zing with Mandee.